Hello, everybody, and welcome to Strategy Now here at MarketStream.live. My name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group, securities offered by MoneyBlock. Here to wrap up what's going on in the midday, see what the strategies and the sectors that traders and institutional investors are starting to deploy. And right now, if you're looking at the session, you're seeing a very mixed session. You have the S&P 500 looking at the DEES futures down 10 points at 2188.75. The NASDAQ is down $83.25 at 4732.75. You're also seeing the Russell 2000, the small cap, trading down almost $7 at 13.15. And then finally, taking a look at what is actually in the green are those blue chips. The Dow Jones 30 is trading at 19,163.65, still up about 0.2%, up around 41 points. And finally, rounding out the green area is volatility. Taking a look at the December VIX futures, they are trading up right now 67 cents at 15.20. So we have vol or uncertainty, mixed action going on today in the midday. And you know what? This is a little bit reminiscent of what we saw in today's performance or yesterday's performance. When I actually, took a look at the fact that the markets were mixed and after the OPEC announcement, and they continue to be mixed today. And so really, when you look at this, where is a lot of this uncertainty or mixed action coming from? Well, the biggest thing is the tech sector, down about 2.1%. As I said, the NASDAQ is leading to the downside, and it's the worst performing sector and the one that's struggling the most right now. Now, the five remaining offensive sectors and cyclical sectors that I keep an eye on are all trading in the green. So you're not seeing that this is a universal pull to the downside. That's helped the Dow Jones and the S&P to hold up and keep the Dow in the green. Now, the underperformance that we're seeing in the NASDAQ and specifically in tech land, that could be attributed to some large cap names like Apple. Apple right now is trading down 67 cents. The heavyweight is facing what is potentially being expected as weaker demand for the iPhone 7. A publication called Digitimes had been reporting that the company has begun reducing its orders for the handsets. We're going to keep an eye on that as those reports start to come across. This is also putting on some pressure on Apple's suppliers. This is a great example of how when you see the large cap name under pressure, then you start looking at the parts, literally and figuratively. Names like Broadcom, AVGO, down $6.70 at 163.68. Qualcomm, QCOM, falling in sympathy. Ticker symbol is QCOM, down $2.96 at 65.17. I'm also looking at Skyworks, ticker symbol SWKS, down 381 at 73.04. And with these stocks that have dealings with directly or indirectly with Apple, they're down between 4 and 5%. And you also are seeing the broader Philly Semiconductor Index, the SMH, down by about 4.2%. So there's some broad-based weakness in the tech sector, and it could be attributed to what you see on the large cap side. So keep an eye on those names like the Apples of the sector. Also, what's weighing on the tech sector is biotech. Now, biotech has been on a tear. But there has been some issues in that biotech area. You look at IBB, which is the biotech ETF, down about $2.17 to 271.70. So that weakness is also weighing on technology. But not everything is in the red or negative. You're seeing quite a bit of leadership from energy. The sector is up 1.8%, and you have financials up 1.8%. The energy sector is really built on the OPEC meeting and what's come out of it. They have come to some sort of agreement. Now, I'm still skeptical on whether or not they're going to adhere to it. I'm also as skeptical about what the actual ramifications of the cap or reduction of production numbers that are basically agreed upon. For example, one of the most notable ones, Russia, cutting back by 300,000 barrels a day. I scratch my head because if you look at what they were producing in July, it was about 10.3 million barrels a day. And when you look at the October numbers coming out of Russia, they were already producing 11.2 billion. So if they scale it down to 10.9 million per day, what's the big deal? I'm still skeptical. But West Texas here in the United States, which is the crude contract that we watch, that January contract is trading at 51.46. It's been an impressive bounce over the last week of almost 15% in total. And if you look at the move over the last 24 hours, it has had a substantial bounce. As a matter of fact, go back to Tech Talk on Monday when we talked about the crude oil contract. It has now gotten above its 20-day and 50-day moving averages. And as I said, if there could get some conviction above those moving averages that we're floating right around that $48 level, you could see that crude could continue to move to the upside. And it's now challenging that first resistance level at 51.46. Very interesting activity there. And the West Texas contract is coming off of an EIA report yesterday where we actually had a draw in crude stockpiles. As far as the financials are concerned, really the boost is coming from the Treasury markets. We've seen some steady selling in the 10-year note. The actual yield is now up 10 basis points today to 2.49%. We're also seeing the shorter term end of the curve. The 2-year notes are up 5 basis points to 1.17%. This has been an incredible yield spike. And for those of you that are new to watching this segment, basically when you see bond yields go up and that means bond prices are coming down. In other words, individuals, institutions are selling bonds. That is going to be eventually beneficial to areas like the stock market. So keep an eye on this activity. As these yields continue to go up and global yields are going up, we're going to watch this because, as a matter of fact, if you look at the global yields, which we discussed in the overnight action when we covered Asia and Europe, you're seeing a pullback in global bonds that we haven't seen in over 30 years. So there is a mass exodus from fixed income. That usually isn't a sign that there's a lot of fear factor or uncertainty, but there is going to be a lot of movement of investment capital. We want to keep a very close eye on all of this as it transpires. And if you want to, stay online with us. Come to MarketStream.live. At 3:30 Eastern Time, I will be back on. I am going to be doing Tech Talk while I'll look at charts, and I'll also look at the options pricing. That gives us that transparency of looking at what has happened in the past of various underlyings, crude, Apple, the bond markets, and then we'll also look at the options. That gives us a forward-looking price estimate that we can take and now start looking at strategically how we want to handle our risk, how we want to look at potentially taking rewards, and most importantly, how do we want to trade very transparently. All right, that's it for now. Join us at 3:30 Eastern Time at MarketStream.live for the Tech Talk, and at 4:30 Eastern, we will wrap up the day with the closing bell here at MarketStream.live. Have a great trading day.